Those pictures make one thing clear. Fighting to the end is not an option. It would devastate Ukraine further. It would kill thousands of citizens. So diplomacy is the way to go. But this is wartime diplomacy. Ukraine is seeking the right to exist. Russia is seeking political commitments. It is not a negotiation between equals. So what options does Volodymyr Zelensky have? Right now, he's betting on more outside support. He's still betting on Western support. Western countries are inviting Zelensky to address their parliament. It's become a ritual. He pops up on the big screen. He asks for a no-fly zone. The lawmakers nod in approval. They gave him a standing ovation and scene. It is scripted to the point of pathetic. Take a look.
Зобов'язує велич вашої держави і вашого народу.
Are lucky to have you as our champion.
Hear, hear.
Вже робить перший те, до чого згодом приходять інші країни, але ми потребуємо. За яких Росія вже не зможе щодня і щоночі тероризувати наші мирні міста. For your support. Зупиніть війну. Допоможіть нам її зупинити.
Zelensky basically had just one appeal to everyone, a no-fly zone, but every Western leader has ruled it out. Joe Biden, Boris Johnson, Emmanuel Macron, all of them want to cheer from the sidelines. So a no-fly zone is not happening. The West knows that. We know that. Russia knows that. So why is Zelensky still asking for it? Well, we can think of two possibilities. Number one, his political inexperience. Zelensky was hoping for more help from the NATO. He was betting on Western intervention. Perhaps on day 22, he's still hopeful. That explains his emotional appeals to Western parliaments. He's showing them pictures of destruction, of Russian missiles hitting buildings, of Ukrainian refugees fleeing. Zelensky is appealing to NATO's humanity. Unfortunately, such a thing does not exist. So here's possibility number two. Zelensky is more astute than we may think. All these appeals, all these emotional speeches, they're all laying the ground for his final gamble, a deal with Russia. For Zelensky, any deal is a double-edged sword. Yes, the fighting will end, but at what cost? What is Zelensky surrendering for peace? Let's do a comparison. These were Putin's demand in December 2021. Neutrality for Ukraine, meaning no NATO membership. No eastward expansion for NATO. Joe Biden flatly rejected those terms. So did Zelensky. They said no to Russia. Cut to March 2022. And this is what Putin is asking for. Neutrality for Ukraine, no NATO membership meaning, recognition of the two rebel republics in the east, in the Donbas region, and acceptance of Crimea's annexation. So the terms are definitely harsh. Putin is asking for a lot more now than he was last year. But what option does Zelensky have? He can either accept the deal or preside over the total destruction of his country. Simply put, there is no winning here. He's either the president who surrendered or the sitting duck president. But there is a third option. Zelensky could blame NATO for leading him down the war path. And frankly, he wouldn't be wrong. NATO did promise military assistance. They promised to defend Ukraine's sovereignty. But when the time came, they decided to sit it out. So Zelensky would not be wrong in blaming NATO for the way things have played out. The question is what happens after that? Ukraine is devastated by the war. It needs urgent reconstruction. Who is going to pay for that? Putin certainly won't. So Zelensky's best bet is still the West. Perhaps a more seasoned politician would have handled things differently. Perhaps they would have understood Putin's real intention or realized the extent of NATO's support or the lack of it. The fact is, we cannot be sure. Zelensky's immediate priority is a ceasefire, and for that he must make concessions. Neutrality, of course, is non-negotiable. Even Zelensky has realized that. So two questions remain. A, the breakaway republics, Donetsk and Luhansk. And two, security guarantees. Ukraine is open to discussing the future of Donbass, but not today. They want to end the war and then talk politics. Security guarantees is a tougher question. How much is the West's guarantee worth? Does Zelensky trust Western leaders anymore? He's already proposed the idea of Israel as a guarantor. So Zelensky is keeping his options open. This strategy may help him in the short run, but history is long-sighted. It won't remember the selfie videos or the parliament speeches. It will only remember the false Western promises and how a political novice fell for them. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.